Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Radio Free Wall Street. You are here. It is time. We are live streaming. And today's show is one of these ones that kind of concerns something that was kind of eating at me. You know, sometimes my sources are cryptic. And they kind of drop clues that are, not so obvious. It's not like following the breadcrumbs. And in this case, I'm hearing just a lot of noise about this Putin-Trump relationship. And I'm hearing a lot of noise that Putin is very, very upset. Now, I want to say something to you. A man like Vladimir Putin, you don't want upset. This is serious nasty. And Donald Trump, I think, has a strange relationship with him, to say the least. He seems to be unable to acknowledge that this Putin is a monster. He is a danger. He's the greatest threat to America, without a doubt. And I know Fox News wants to spin like, Russia? They're the teddy bear. It's the nasty Chinese. Well, Chinese are a problem, too. But the two-ton gorilla, the guy with the most nukes, the most insane, power-hungry man on the planet, is obviously Vladimir Putin. Now, I know we're told it's a deep state conspiracy restate, and we shouldn't worry about it, but I'm worried. I'm worried about Donald Trump's obvious, should we say, blinders to Putin. I'm worried about Donald Trump's statements about Putin, about how, we should let him in the G7, and, it should be a G8 again, and, what's a little Crimea? I mean, after all, they spoke Russian, and, that kind of stuff just, you kind of go, say, what? What? Did I hear this right? What's this crazy shit? So, to me, it's pretty obvious, and, again, I guess I'm one of these conspiracy theorist kind of guys. Not crazy wacko, but, to me it's pretty obvious that there was something that went on there in a brofest, and it appears to me, and I don't think it's a deep state conspiracy by any stretch of imagination, that Donald Trump fears and admires Vladimir. I've watched Donald Trump literally shit on our allies, literally piss them off. I've watched him become divisive about NATO, claim that NATO's going to pay 4%, towards defense, and withdrawing Americans' obvious, unqualified, we'll kick ass for you support of NATO, I think is a serious mistake, and sending the wrong message to a guy like Vladimir. But maybe it's not. Maybe, is it possible? I asked this question, could it be that maybe Trump has something to fear from Vladimir? Now, I'm of the opinion, a very strong opinion, gets stronger by the day, especially with the recent indictments, that something happened between the Trump organization and Vladimir and the Russians. And I don't regard it as a big deal. In other words, if they colluded, they colluded. If you got a dossier, you got a dossier. If you got publicity leaked by the Russians, if they interfered in the election, well, that's just part of the sordid, nasty world we live in. I don't regard it as the end of the world, okay? Where my fear lies is, besides the fact that Donald Trump doesn't read anything, doesn't study anything, doesn't prepare anything, and shoots from the hips. Where my real concern lies, and it's growing, is that it seems to me like there's a smell there, There's something that's just not quite right. There's some kind of relationship there that is not healthy. And I worry about this. I worry about Donald Trump, who feels his win and his credibility as president has been called into question, that it's bringing with it a certain kind of anxiety that Trump has. And when I look at this thing, I'm going, well, what am I feeling here? Are you following me? There's just something just not quite right. Well, why is Donald Trump so worried about no collusion, okay? Do campaigns take information from any sources to win? Well, of course they do. Did the Russians interfere in the election? Of course they did. Did the troll farm help swing the election Donald Trump's way? Well, without a doubt. Did the Russians pick Donald Trump to be a winner? Yeah, of course they did. So, we've interfered in elections all over the world. I can personally tell you, I've seen them. We, as a matter of fact, our good friend Mohammed Obama, to the Islamic Bros, the ones that took over in Egypt for a while, absolutely positively, we gave him assets, $1 billion in cash. We aided and abetted that election. So, I mean, everybody does that shit. It's just part of the game. Okay? But here's what's not part of the game. The part that has me extremely disturbed is two things. One is I sense that Donald Trump is really worried about this Russian investigation despite all the bullshit. Forget the Fox News bullshit spin, okay? It's a big deal. There is evidence that Americans were involved. It'll come out. Mueller doesn't leak, and when he comes out with stuff, it gets everybody's attention, and it's credible. One of my problems that I think Donald Trump admires and fears Putin. Now, I've been getting encrypted messages about these nerve gas attacks. You heard about this stuff? It's really a nasty, sophisticated weapon system, chemical, that many governments of the world don't have the capacity to make it. The stuff is colorless, tasteless, odorless, and it's extremely powerful. One drop can kill 20 people. And you can place it in the environment, and if someone touches it, it's absorbed through the skin, and it seems to be popping up at key times, like within days of Donald Trump landing in England. And I just can't help wonder, in my deranged mind, could they be sending a message? God forbid. Could Putin be threatening the President of the United States? Could he be sending warning shots across the bow? Could this be part of the narrative? I can tell you that Putin is really pissed that sanctions have not been lifted. Donald Trump was really eager to get the word to the Russians that, hey, listen, I fired the FBI director. Call me. That ended the Russian investigation. Vladimir, nothing to worry about. Now let me just get on with it. Now remember, the Trump administration, when they first came into office, was prepared to and tried to lift sanctions against Russia. They got shot in the ass pretty quickly about that. Donald Trump's been trying to get Putin back in the G7. He's trying to send messages that NATO is no threat to Russia. He's pretty clear that Russia aventurism in the old Soviet Union is no concern of Americans, and that Donald Trump's support for American allies is wavering greatly. And he's sending message after message that just smells like that. Who are you trying to convince of this? I mean, why are we kissing Putin's ass? What is this bro thing? Now, you've seen how Donald Trump has acted with NATO. You've seen how he shit on May. You see how he insulted the Queen and played all these games. I mean, is he not trying to send a message? I mean, is this the art of the deal? I don't buy that shit for a minute, do you? This is the art of survival? Could this be the art of self-preservation politically? I mean, could Donald Trump fear Putin? And the answer is, I get a sniff that, yeah, I think he does. I think Donald Trump's bro has a relationship that's in trouble. And I think Donald is worried about something that I can't put my finger on. I just can't seem to get it right, but it seems like there's something there that is creating, should we say, a little heat in the teepee. And something inside of me wants to see, what is it that's going on there? I mean, what is it that Trump is so worried about? What is it that keeps bothering me and nagging me? Why is Donald Trump so obviously nervous about this guy? Now, you need to think about it. You just can't blow this off, okay? There's more. I want to think about some more things. As you're seeing the Mueller investigation, without any leaks, keeps coming up with a very interesting angle of attack that shows that there was collusion between the Russians, Cambridge Analytica, social media, and that information was provided to them, whether willingly or otherwise. There obviously was a collusion between somebody and WikiLeaks that leaked this fruits of Russian endeavors and the hacking of the Democratic email servers. The release of these documents definitely damaged the Democrats. definitely gave Donald Trump, in a very close election, the edge that I think let him win. And it definitely came from the Russians. Now, the issue is, there was collusion, but was there collusion between the Trump campaign? Were there promises made and promises that Vladimir expects to be kept? I would not want to owe a nasty man like Vladimir anything, okay? I would not, being president, I wouldn't care if I was king of the world. This is a very nasty, dangerous piece of work. This is a man who's capable of doing anything. He has vast resources and a long arm, and these are some very clever boys, okay? Very, very clever. And things with them are never what they appear to be, okay? And I have to say to you, as I keep going down this road, I'm bothered by something. I just really feel in my gut that there's something with Vladimir and something with Trump, and Trump is trying to please Vladimir, and I see Vladimir as becoming very unhappy with Donald Trump. And Trump, I think, is not delivered, should we say, what's promised, and maybe what is owed. You cannot differentiate between these issues and just blow them off as deep state bullshit, okay? That's simplistic. What I want to know is what really went on there. Why does Trump not agree with any of our intelligence agencies' assessments? Why does he not read the briefs? Doesn't even attend most of the briefings. What is it that Donald Trump doesn't want to hear that they're telling him? What is it that has got the FBI and the CIA intelligence agencies so riled? Why are they leaking? Why are they moving ahead with this investigation? What is it that's causing the split? You know, there's something there, and I know you can feel it, and something not quite right. Could Donald Trump have been compromised by Vladimir? Is he teetering on the edge? Is Vladimir becoming increasingly unhappy with Donald Trump? Does Vladimir need to save a message? There's something there and something big brewing, I can tell you. And this summit that he's having with Vladimir, especially after the indictments of top Russian military officials for engaging in tampering elections, is not what a president would do. Having meetings with Donald Trump without the proper protocol, without advisors, with just his translator and Putin's translator, unprecedented and very dangerous. And why would you do it? What do you have to discuss with, in essence, in secret with Vladimir? What message is Vladimir trying to send to Trump? Is there a possibility that the President of the United States fears this man? Is it possible that the President of the United States has been compromised and blackmailed? Why are our spy agencies biting so hard on this? Why are these investigations centering on the Trump campaign, Cohen, Manafort, high-ranking officials and their Russian connections, okay? I believe that when we get to the report, it'll be really difficult to call this a deep state conspiracy. It'll be even more difficult for the Fox News to spin it as a nothing burger. And I wonder where this goes, okay? What does Donald Trump have to hide? Why will he not go, as he said he would, and clear the air and just exonerate himself and testify and get it over with? What is it that Donald Trump is so worried about that comes out? I mean, you know, there's something there. We all know that, okay? We all feel it. And to say it's an unusual relationship is really an understatement. And what is there that we're not seeing? What is there that can bite us in the ass? What is there in this relationship that is some kind of unholy alliance? You know, are we threatening the United States? Are we putting our people at risk? What is it our spy agencies are trying to tell us? Why is this investigation not ending? And why is Donald Trump trying to end it in a dirty way? If there's an investigation, why isn't he facing it? Why isn't he going there and facing the music? Why is Donald Trump trying to discredit this investigation on a constant basis to the point of being absurd and ridiculous, okay? And the answer is, I think there's something there. I think there's something to hide. I think there's something Donald Trump is really worried about. And I think it's going to come out. I truly do. I think Donald Trump has got himself a great big problem. And as the investigation drags on, I see more and more things that confirm this to me. Again, I want to repeat to you that if Donald Trump's not a guilty man and has done nothing, there's been no collusion, why are we in this episode of this endless no collusion claim? Why are we constantly hearing Donald Trump's refrain? Why is he attacking NATO? Why is he attacking our allies in a public way? And why is he constantly bringing up Russia? What is it about Russia? Okay, it's a settled business. He was thrown out of the G7 because of Crimea. He's not welcome until he gives it back. He has sanctions. Why is Donald Trump continuing to ask that the sanctions be lifted? Why is Donald Trump pissing off our allies? And watch, we'll get some proof. He shows up there Monday, and the two bros are going to meet. I wonder what kind of spin and press deal we're going to get. I wonder how he's going to act. I wonder what the body language says. I wonder the narrative. And who is Donald Trump trying to convince? My other question is Donald Trump trying to convince you and me? I don't think so. It's more like Donald Trump's trying to convince Vladimir that all is well. And it's almost like Vladimir's not buying into that shit. I see Vladimir as being the most dangerous leader in the world alive today. I see him reminiscent of some very dangerous people in the past, like Adolf Hitler. I see him as running Russia as a totalitarian state. I see him ready to drop of the hat to attack his neighbors. And I think the only thing that was standing in the way of that in the past was the fear of the United States. And I don't think Vladimir has such fears anymore. I don't think Vladimir is worried about America interfering with his plans. I think Vladimir sees himself as having neutralized Donald Trump. I can tell you that he's aggressively involved in Syria. And Trump scratched his ass, and I don't even know what he's talking about. I published on the news section an interview with Donald Trump, and it's like, Syria? Where is that? What the hell's going on there? I don't worry about Syria. You want to go golfing? Okay, so I see this kind of crazy shit approach to this thing that makes no sense to me. And as I continue looking and researching this thing, I get more and more crazy shit from Donald Trump on these issues that absolutely makes no sense to me. And the question's got to be exactly what is he doing? And again, it appears like that, very simply, I got a leader who's been compromised. I got a leader who is scared to death of Vladimir and what Vladimir knows, or what Vladimir can do. And I find that extremely disturbing. Because like I said, if we have a leader of the United States who's been compromised, that's a grave danger to all of us. And I believe that Donald Trump has been compromised. I believe that Vladimir's got the goods on him. I believe that Donald Trump is scared shit of old Vladimir. And I think Vladimir's going to play, excuse my pun, the Trump card. And this meeting should be very informative of what direction this goes in the future. Because at some point, Vladimir is going to call on those markers. And at some point, Vladimir is going to become Donald Trump's worst nightmare. And I don't think that Donald Trump really understands that. I think Donald Trump believes he can slick it over and bullshit over. He can bullshit the American people and talk all that shit. You're not going to shit a man like Vladimir. Vladimir has got some of the most brilliant people advising him in the world. I guarantee that Donald Trump hasn't done shit except go golf for this meeting. But I guarantee you that Vladimir has been getting ready for months. I think Vladimir has an agenda. He knows exactly what he wants. He knows exactly what he can get. He knows exactly how to manipulate old Donald Trump. And I think it's a great danger to us. And I think ignoring Vladimir and not understanding who he is and what he is without a doubt the greatest threat facing America right now. And I think Vladimir truly understands Trump's vulnerabilities. I think he truly understands how to handle Donald Trump and play him like a fine Stradivarius. And I believe that before Donald Trump's legislative first term is up, that Vladimir is going to demonstrate clearly to us who is boss. I think Vladimir is going to clearly show us that he owns Donald Trump and he can do whatever he wants and no one can stop him. If I was in the former the Baltics or the former Soviet Union, I think I'd go to the Mexican border and, try to get a dishwashing job in America. Because I can tell you that America and Europe are basically pulling away from the former Soviet Union. Vladimir is now in Syria. He has separated Turkey from NATO. He's doing a masterful job playing the Iranians against the Saudis. He's supplying sophisticated weapons to the Turks. And the Turks are going, oh, Vladimir, thank you. We would never have gotten this great joys and presents from NATO, so I guess you're our bro. Vladimir is playing a very, very dangerous game that threatens world peace and world stability. Vladimir understands what he's doing, and he understands that, listen to me, hear me carefully. He understands what he's doing, and he understands that Donald Trump's a joke. He also understands that he's got some leverage with Donald Trump, and as this investigation digs deeper, Vladimir understands that Donald Trump is, we say, vulnerable. And I'm going to tell you something, hear me well. Vladimir at some point will throw Donald Trump under the bus. He won't put up with his shit for long. And Vladimir is no fool. As I said, I started this, he's not a man to be trifled with. And I believe that Donald Trump realizes he has a problem, but I think he underestimates what a grave threat Vladimir Putin is and what an enemy he can be. And I don't understand why our leaders, our intelligence agencies are not more vocal about this. Now, they are sending signals. They're letting leak that Donald Trump, with his problem with, paying attention and please open the briefing book. I'm too busy. They're upset about that, but they are not getting it into the mainstream. I can tell you reliably that Donald Trump is not listening to the intelligence briefings when he attends them. When he attends them, he's not interested. He does not read his briefing book ever, and that he's doing a lot of things that's 100% against what his advisors have recommended, and it's a constant cleanup operation in the White House for Donald Trump's snafus. Would you say he's the worst diplomat we ever had? Without a doubt. You think it's the art of the deal? You think he's making good deals? Show me one deal. What has Donald Trump accomplished? What has he brought to America, okay? And the answer is I can't find anything. We're in a nasty trade war that's getting nastier by the day. We are isolating ourselves from our longtime allies. We're not gaining anything. In other words, after all this NASA's all this work, what have we gotten in return, okay? He's jeopardizing our businesses. He's jeopardizing international business relationships. He's destroying Americans' competitiveness. And he's really throwing Europe into the arms of the Russians. You heard about the gas deal, right? Well, who wants to buy natural gas from America when you realize that, they're more worried about sanctions from America than they are about Russia? Russia is a very reliable supplier. America's in a trade war with you, so you're going to now want to buy natural gas. Well, the other thing is, let me tell you something else. The cheapest way to deliver natural gas is by pipeline, and the most expensive way is liquefied natural gas on tankers. So there's a real competitive price pressure there. The other situation is that Vladimir has as low a production cost of natural gas as the United States does. Vladimir doesn't mess around with tribal graveyards and, EPA statements and feasibility studies. It takes 10 years to put in a pipeline. He just puts in the pipeline. Anybody that stands in the way, well, I think they chain up the pipeline and make them help weld it together. He has a way of convincing people that if he says he's running a natural gas pipeline through your house, you open the front door and you open the back door and say, yeah, Vladimir, I'm glad to see you here, and what can I do to help you? So the idea that there's any discussion about what Vladimir wants to do is ridiculous. And I want to say this to you. I wonder if that's a lesson that Donald Trump is learning. I'm going to say this to you again. It really strikes me that Donald Trump very much fears his bro Vladimir, and very much is vulnerable to him emotionally and otherwise. And I think the position between Vladimir and Donald Trump puts America at a grave disadvantage on the world scene. And I want to clearly understand that this is pretty serious stuff. What exactly is Donald Trump worried about? What exactly is Vladimir got on him? And why continuously does Trump take the side of Vladimir and push the agenda? This is really dangerous stuff, guys. I'm telling you, I just find myself outraged at what's going on here, and I don't think anybody's really thinking about it. I get the sense that our spy agencies are concerned. I get the sense that from the start, the FBI called into question Donald Trump's patriotism, his honesty. Is kind of ridiculous to mention the same sentence, honesty, and Donald Trump. It's pretty obvious Donald Trump has another agenda, and I believe fervently that that agenda is not compatible with what is the best interest of the United States of America. And so to me, I see Donald Trump as being a grave threat to the United States of America. The questions, and I'm going to say this to you, absolutely, positively, should the questions of the relationship between Trump, the Trump campaign, and the collusion issue be vigorously investigated? You're damn right it should be. The idea that it's a witch hunt is absurd and ridiculous. And if there is a witch, well, then we got to burn him at the stake, okay? And so Donald Trump is going to have to be at some point answerable. The questions are legitimate in lieu of what's happened. Remember, the documents were obtained by the Russians. No one's questioning that. They were released to WikiLeaks. They were released in a timely fashion after Donald Trump asked for their assistance, after he received their assistance, and after he announced that big announcements were coming. You know, guys, I'm not an idiot. If Hannity wants to make an idiot out of you, that's your business. I know what I heard. I know what I saw. And I know these are very legitimate questions that have to be asked. And I'm not satisfied with the answers. I'm not satisfied with it's deep state. Forget the whole thing. Never mind deep state conspiracy. It's obvious that they're jealous because I'm such a great president. And I'm ready. I'm a good friend. The Queen's my friend. Oh, Theresa May and I are good friends. We have a close relationship. You know, that bullshit, those joke press conferences, they not only don't I buy that shit, they disgust me. I find him insulting my intelligence on a daily basis. I find Donald Trump, being the art. It's not the art of the deal. It's the art of the bullshit. And more, I feel like I'm being bullshitted. More and more, I question his credibility, his honesty. I question his loyalty to the United States of America. I question his integrity on a minute-by-minute basis. And I regard the Trump presidency as the most corrupt presidency in my lifetime. I regard him as a very dangerous threat to America. And I think you'd have to be out of your mind if you don't see that, What is Donald Trump hiding? What is there in the back room? What is there we're not seeing? Because there's something there. And I am very, very concerned. And as an American, as someone who loves freedom, as someone who understands the horror of the socialist system, the threat of this military power, Russia, if there's a war in Europe, as things stand now, Russia could easily win. So we look at these things, you have to stand back and say, God, are we vulnerable? Now, you at least owe it yourself to carefully watch, without the blinders on, the rose-colored Hennedy glasses, and ask yourself, what exactly is he doing? What is behind this statement? Is he taking a firm stand against Russia, really, really, really? Or is he just making noise? And I think you're going to find that there's a lot to be questioned about Donald Trump's intention, his relationship, and what I feel is a very threatening to Donald Trump's longevity as a president of the United States by Vladimir Putin. Putin could turn very ugly.